Hi, I want to explain you whether we are in recession or not by taking data. With data, it will be clear. Even if I say we are in recession or not recession, without data, you will not be able to believe me. But then I have taken all the data. So basically, when there is recession, there are few indicators. One is the GDP, and the other one is the share market, and the other one is the unemployment rate. Now, if you look at the GDP till 2022, I'm talking about. So, US GDP is positive 1.90. The average is 2 for the past 20 years, but then 1.90 is good. It is not negative. And Indian GDP is growing at 6.80%. Again, this is also increasing, right? So, we are in the growing phase in GDP. Now, if you look at what has happened during the recession of 2008, there was negative GDP, negative growth in the GDP, right? So minus 2.60, 0.10. So these were the indicators that there was recession. But currently there is no recession, everything is positive, right? So now coming to unemployment rate. So US typically has unemployment rate of 8%, okay? But then currently the unemployment rate till 2022 in US is just 3.6%, which is at its all-time low. So people are having jobs, unemployment rate is very less. Even in India also 7.33, which is very less compared to what has happened during the COVID years, 10.19. So what I mean to say is, even if you look at the unemployment data also, the unemployment rate is very less currently. So there is no chance of recession. And then if you look at the recession in 2008, all the share markets have crashed. So Dow Jones has crashed by 45%, and in fact Indian share market crashed by 60%. So there was a negative growth. So this was an indication that there was recession in 2008. Now in 2020 also, because of Corona, the stock market has crashed. For example, US share market has crashed by 32%, and then Indian share market has also crashed by 33%. So 37% and 33%. But now if you see this, as of now, all the shares are trading at their all-time high. All the share markets are doing really well. They are at all-time high. So when the share markets are doing so well, there is no chance that we are in recession. Okay. So even if you look at the share prices of top companies, like for example, Alphabet. So Alphabet is at all-time high. You can see this. So here it is at all-time high. Meta is at all-time high, and Microsoft is at all-time high. Alphabet Class A is at all-time high. Salesforce is again at all-time high. So all these companies are actually doing really well in the share market. So GDP is showing that we are not in recession. Unemployment rate is showing that we are not in recession. And even the share prices of different companies are showing that we are not in recession. But the question is, this data is really important. So you can see that many companies are laying off employees. So like 6% to 50%, they are laying off the employees. Why is this happening when there is no recession? So the answer is that what happened was, the demand for the software products and the .com companies have increased exponentially during the recession. See, the demand used to grow linearly, but then during the recession, demand has grown up exponentially, and now again the demand has come down and it is growing as usual. If you see this, the demand is growing as usual only, but only time it had a spike was during COVID time. So during COVID time, all the companies, all the other sectors, they didn't do well. All their stock prices fell down. All the demand has come down. But only companies whose demand has grown exponentially during COVID were tech companies, especially software companies and .com companies. Now, all these companies, what they did was, they have done a lot of hiring during this peak. So they hired left, right and center in order to fulfill the demand. Now when the demand has come down to normal, if you look at it, demand has come down to normal, then they are trying to downsize the teams. They are just removing the extra flab that they have hired just before the COVID and during the COVID. Right. So what we can expect is that there will be some layoff to come to the normal stage, and once all the layoffs are over, then the hiring will start as usual, as we are in a growing market. It is not in recession. So bottom line, if you ask me whether we are in recession or not, we are definitely not in a recession as of now, and the data is not indicating that we will be in recession anytime sooner. So there is no indication like that. So no recession now, and the chances are that there will be no recession in the future. The layoffs are temporary, which is because of the extra flap they have hired. Now after these layoffs are over, again the hiring will continue as usual. Okay, thank you.